Good morning, and welcome to the Lone Star Weekly Business Hour. Your host, Rick Schissler, is a Silver Fox advisor who personally has over 40 years of experience as a serial entrepreneur. So sit back, pull out your pad and pencil, and get ready to take notes as we join Rick Schissler in his Lone Star Weekly Business Hour.
Welcome, and thank you for joining us for this week's edition of the Weekly Business Hour. This is Rick Schissler, your Silver Fox advisor and host of the Weekly Business Hour. Really glad that you've taken time to listen to the program today. We've got a great lineup for you today. First, our thought for the week, the first hour of every day. And then a quick check-in with Dick on the business of Lone Star. Rafael Perez with Total Home Management will update us on how to build a business in real estate. And we'll finish out the program with several news items, some tips and ideas that I hope you can use to improve your business. And our Silver Fox tip of the week, are you losing your business slowly? Well, first of all, let's talk about our thought for the week. I was trying to think about something this past week to talk about, and I popped in my head, the first hour of every day. The question, what do you do with the first hour of every day? Getting off the starting line quick has always been a term used in racing, but I think it really applies in business as well. And I know a bunch of high-energy, very successful entrepreneurs and small business people that would agree with me. That first hour of the day can be critical to your success throughout the day. You've got to get off the starting line right in a fast mode, making something happen. And what does that look like? Well, it looks like different things to different people. Most of the people I know that are very successful and really get out of the starting gate quick in the morning, first hour is more of kind of thinking about what's going on for the day, double checking their list of things to do, perhaps reading, checking on local events through a newspaper or the Wall Street Journal, getting things in order. Some people exercise in the morning, but they will tell you unequivocally that first hour is so critical. Another question I have is, when does the first hour really start for you? You know, some people get up kind of slow in the morning. Got to have that cup of coffee or take a walk or something, and they will tell you that their first hour doesn't start till they get to the office. Now, this I would beg to differ, and I go back to what I originally said. I think the first hour you're up in the morning says so much, sets the stage, if you will, about how your day is going to turn out. So I think it's important to get up and start that first hour, the first 60 minutes after your feet hit the floor. What's going on? Another question I have for you, what do you wish might be differently? We're all creatures of habits in some extent or another. And what is this if you had a chance to change anything? Is the first hour always the same routine? I'm pretty much a guy of routine, and I have a hard time adjusting my schedule, particularly first thing in the morning. Quite frankly, if I had an hour in the morning, I want 3 hours so I could do everything I want to do. I like to get up. I like to meditate. I like to read my Bible. I like to go exercise, then eat a quick breakfast, a nutritious breakfast, and then I'm on my way. And that seems to take about 2, maybe 3 hours. But what would you do differently? Ask yourself that question. Think about it a little bit. If there was something you could do differently, besides grab a different cup of coffee, a different flavor or something like that, what is it that you could do in your morning routine that could get you out of the gate faster? And then look at the rest of your day and reflect back just for a moment, some point today, what is it I could have done differently in that first hour that it might have made my day more productive and successful? You're in the right place if you're a business owner, manager, or you're considering starting your own business, because the Weekly Business Hour is where Montgomery County comes to talk about the latest in business news, ideas to improve your business, and to hear from some of our own local business leaders on how they have found success right here in Montgomery County. If you're ready to do business this week, then let's get started with today's show. First, let me remind you, if any time during the show or even after the show, if you've got a question for me or a perspective or thought, please send it to me. My email address is rick@irlonestar.com. And if you enjoy the show, then like us on Facebook at the Weekly Business Hour page. Now let's check in on the business right here at Lone Star Dick, what's on tap for Lone Star for the coming week?
I want to let people know that we have a new jazz show starting on Sundays from 5 to 7 right before the Players Theater Company Vintage Radio Hour. Basically, C.C. Holmes is going to be in the studio from 5 to 7 playing jazz music. So if you like the jazz genre, always tune into Lone Star Community Radio on Sundays from 5 to 7 right before the Conroe's Players Theater Vintage Radio Hour.
Well, another business adding itself to the long list of people that are appearing on Lone Star. So check it out if you enjoy a little bit of jazz on a Sunday afternoon right here on irlonestar.com. Now to really what to me is the heart and soul of our show, and that's to talk to a local business leader, someone who's worked in our community, been a part of it, and built a successful business. And I am so pleased to have Rafael Perez of Total Home Management with us today. Rafael, welcome to the show.
Well, Richard, thank you very much for inviting me to the show. It's a pleasure to be here, and hopefully your listeners will learn a little bit about real estate and property management today.
Well, I think they will. You've been involved in that industry for quite a while, been involved in this community and been part of this community for a long time. How did you get started in the real estate business?
Actually, I got started when I was 26 years old. That's when I bought my first rental property. At 26, I decided to buy my first rental property. It didn't go so well, and I decided to get out of it. Unfortunately, looking back, I wish I would have stayed in it. But in 2005, I got back in the real estate business as an investor, buying rental properties again. And I got my real estate license for real estate in 2007.
So you've been part of the real estate almost 10 years on a full-time basis. Is that fair?
Yes.
Well, it's interesting. Your first business, if you will, was a failure. You're part of my club because the first business I got involved in after I left a family business didn't work out well, but it sure sets the stage for the rest of the businesses. Is that how it worked for you?
That's how it worked for me. Like I said, it wasn't exactly a failure. I just got a little worried about the way things worked out with my first rental property. And like I said, I wish I wouldn't have done that and kept on going because the real estate industry is a great industry to be in.
Well, you're involved in a company, I think you mentioned when we were talking before the show, Total Home Management. You got a partner in that company. How do they all come up with that name, Total Home Management?
Well, Total Home Management, Ron is actually the broker and my partner in the business. Ron came up with the name because what we do as Total Home Management, of course, our motto is we are your home's primary care provider. As property managers, your home is like our home. We try to go in there and take care of it as we would our home. We have a network of professionals that we work with that we know and trust that can take care of your problems at your home. Or if you're just doing the landlord and you want somebody to take care of your tenants, we do that also.
Now, when you say take care of your home, you're talking about my personal home.
Yeah, we do a little different strategy. We do property management as landlording, but we also do property management for owners that travel a lot, owners that have vacation homes, single moms that just want a one-stop shop to call. They call us, and like I said, we have a network of professionals that we work with, and then we meet them there if we have to, if you're at work or if you're traveling, and make sure that any kind of repairs get taken care of.
It's interesting that I was traveling. My wife and I were traveling several years ago, and we were down in Florida, and some good friends had moved there. We went down to see them. They had a beautiful home on a little bit of land and whatnot, and they were new to the community, and they bumped in somehow into someone doing what you were doing. And at first, the husband said I was a little reluctant, but he says it saved me the idea that I could call one phone number and I didn't have to go out and qualify the air conditioning guy and kind of go through this whole process of hooking up. And he says these folks have done a great job. I pay a little bit more for them to manage it, but he was really appreciative of what the kind of service it sounds like you provide.
Yes, like I said, we try to work with professionals, local professionals. And of course, our area is Montgomery County. That's what we try to focus on. I mean, sometimes if it's too far away, we'll turn down a client because it's just something we can't do. If we can't take care of it in a professional manner and respond quick to the situation, then we don't want to take it.
Well, is this an industry, do you know, that's kind of growing nationwide where people are offering that one-stop shop for homeowners themselves?
Yes, it's something that's grown because as busy as everybody is, with jobs, with family, sometimes, with husband and wife working, both couples working, it's something that it's a growing business for us.
Well, it's very interesting. Like I said, our friends in Gainesville really appreciated being new to the community and not having to go out and the preventative maintenance. They were on a schedule. It was an a la carte situation. They picked what they wanted, but lawn service, everything. It was all taken care of. But one phone number to call if you had a question or needed something.
Yeah, and then sometimes if it's something simple like changing a light bulb or a leaky faucet, we'll go out there ourselves and do it. It's no use of hiring a professional when it's something that we can do.
Right. Well, that's interesting. That's an interesting thing. Well, let me ask you this: as you've gotten involved in real estate, and on the other side of that coin, you mentioned that you manage properties for landlords, for owners. Mm-hmm. Now, if I bought a home, an investment home, why wouldn't I want a management? Why would I want to contact you to handle that property for me?
Well, first of all, you want to do a tenant screening. Make sure that you have the right tenants in there. Of course, it's not always going to be guaranteed, but the more process you have trying to get the tenants in there, the better it is going to be in the long run. And if you do have a bad tenant in there, you have to know the process of eviction also, which we do that. We do the tenant screening. We collect the rent. We do all the maintenance, take care of maintenance issues, and of course, something we don't like to do is eviction process, but something we do if need to.
That would be the one advantage that I would see, the primary advantage for myself. And as we discussed earlier, I have a background in real estate, commercial real estate, and the idea of just the tenant portion of it, of finding the right tenant, collecting the rent, and then, of course, you mentioned if you have to do an eviction. I would love to outsource that piece if I owned a property. Only one property, where it wasn't a full-time business for sure. That's so important, getting the right tenant in there, isn't it?
Yeah, it is very important to get the right tenant in there, and following up with a tenant, and the maintenance, of course. I always tell the tenants, a lot of tenants will try to do their jobs themselves, and sometimes it's worse, Richard. So we always tell them, call us to make sure that the job gets done professionally, because a little problem might turn into a big problem.
Well, that's something I hadn't thought about. That's a big advantage for your tenant, too, if I rented a property, to know that there was professional management in the property I was renting. Mm-hmm. Well, that's interesting. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're up against a break. Take a short commercial break here. When we come back, we're going to continue our discussion with Rafael and talk about some of the advantages of investing in residential real estate.
Are you planning on growing, expanding, or possibly selling your business? All of these business opportunities require developing strategies and setting goals in order to achieve success. Providing specialized consulting in these and other key business decisions is what Silver Fox Advisors have been doing since 1986. Let us help you today. Call us at 713-343-3718. It might be the most profitable call that you ever make.
Are you paying too much for your personal or business insurance? Patricia Cooper Insurance on FM 1488 and Tamina Road is an independent agency that can shop multiple carriers to find the best rates and coverages to fit your specific needs. Call us today at 281-356-9955 and let us go to work for you. Patricia Cooper Insurance, where our customers are treated like family.
Running a business is hard. Pressure to maximize profits and minimize loss continue to grow. Schooley Mitchell of Houston can help. Their independent consultants will ensure you are receiving the best communications and credit card processing services at the best prices. Most importantly, their services are completely risk-free. If they don't find savings for you, there is no fee. Contact Schooley Mitchell of Houston today to find out. Call 832-314-1815 or visit their website at schooleymitchell.com/JM
Hi, this is BJ Orner from Montgomery County Performing Arts Society. I'm here to remind you to get your tickets now for all the upcoming events that McPass has to offer. All shows will be held at the beautiful Crichton Theater in downtown Conroe. Call 936-441-3633 7469 for your tickets today, or go to our website, www.macpass.org, for more information. Hope to see you at the show.
Taylorized PR works exclusively to get your business noticed. Public relations is how others perceive you and your company. By tailorizing the marketing strategy exclusively to your business, your story is told. Taylorized PR services include networking, social media, blogs, press releases, public appearances, and event planning. To learn about Taylorized PR, call Margie Taylor at 936-828-6881 or visit the website at taylorizedpr.com. My business is tailored to yours.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. You're listening to the Weekly Business Hour, and this is Rick Schissler, your Silver Fox advisor. And we're in the studio today with Rafael Perez. And before we get back to our conversation, I want to remind you that the Lone Star Community Radio will soon be available to you on FM 104.5 and 106.1 on your radio dial, offering you, our listener, both a tune-in and internet radio station. Now back to the subject that's on the table, real estate. Rafael, when we left, we were talking about purchase and being the manager of single-family homes. But in general, if someone is considering investing in real estate, residential real estate, what are the real advantages to me as an investor in that type of investment?
Well, the advantages, of course, real estate is a vehicle that's traditionally has gone up in value, for a long time. So just the rental rates itself, the last 3 years here in this area have gone up about 40%. Of course, it's a vehicle that you want to have part of your eggs in that basket, but not all your eggs in the basket. I always recommend having part of your eggs in the real estate market, of course, because it's something that's going to be going up in equity, and as rentals go up, most of the time the rentals stay at that point. Once the rental rate, the market goes down, the rental rates stay the same.
One of the things about real estate, and you made a point, if you look at any kind of financial planning program, they'll always say have 5-10% or something in real estate, depending on where your risk tolerance is. But that and don't include your home in that. So that means going out and either buying stocks or something related to real estate. But I happen to be one, again, I got a background years ago in real estate commercial, but have seen some successful programs put together for people that I know that have invested in single family, built up a nice portfolio, and then multifamily, and they kind of build that ladder, if you will. Let me ask you, what are some of the challenges, though, of being involved? I mean, it sounds good. I mean, when you say rental rates have gone up 30-40% in the last few years, boy, I sit up and pay attention, because that's obviously upside. But what are some of the challenges to an investor of investing in this kind of real estate?
Of course, you have to have a lot of patience. If you don't have patience, that's where we come in as property managers. There is of course, investment to start. Most of the time, it's an investment property. They require anywhere from 20-25% down payment. So the financing issues is sometimes a challenge on that. A lot of people don't know that they can use their IRA or 401k as an investment vehicle. There's a vehicle called a self-directed IRA that you can use that to buy real estate with.
So that's where you get your equity. You've got to source that 25%. So, one of the questions I had is, okay, I'm going to buy my first house, and I've made that decision to put some money, part of my retirement or whatever I'm saving money in a house. I buy the first house. Where do I go from there? Just buy another house? Or
I always tell anybody who's going to get involved in real estate investing, if you're going to get in it, plan on buying at least 4 properties. From my experience, once you get to that 4th property, you're going to have bad tenants. It's going to happen. It's part of the business. But once you get 4 properties, one out of them 4 tenants, it might be bad, but you have the other 3 to make up for it.
So you're kind of leveraging things out.
Yeah, of course. The first 2 or 3 properties, you have to be very selective on the tenants you pick out.
Now, what range of properties, as far as cost or value, do you look in particularly?
Me particularly, I look at lower end properties because I'm looking at cash flow. It all depends what you want to look at. Is it cash flow? Is it building equity? Is it quick turnaround? That'd be in the wholesaling, or is it buying and flipping? It all depends on your strategy.
Now, from a dollars and cents point of view, what range are you looking at? You said lower end, so what is that range?
Lower end for me would be anywhere from $60,000 to $150,000, where the rental rates you have a bigger pool in that rental rate area.
Okay, now what do you mean by a bigger pool?
More of the working class, so there's more
higher
tenants,
demand.
Higher demand
Right.
in that area.
So that's one of the principal reasons is obviously like any market that we go into with the business, analyze what the market's all about.
Correct.
That's interesting, really interesting. Well, let me ask you this now. I've bought those 4 homes. And you say that's kind of a first step, I guess, because I've got enough spread my risk around. So if I have a bad tenant, I still have 3 that are producing income on a regular basis, and so on and so forth. What's the next level?
The next level, me personally, I'm up to 12 rental properties. My goal is 20 rental properties. And, there's a lot of property managers out there that manage properties, but they don't even have properties themselves. And that's one thing, where we kind of stand out. We don't just manage properties, but we have our own properties that we manage ourselves. So, but it all depends what you want to do. My goal is to use my rental properties as my cash flow when I retire. It's almost like another Social Security for me.
Right, and you mentioned that early on, and I kind of glossed over, and I apologize to our listeners, but when you go into this investment, it's like any other investment. What are your goals? Whether you're going to hold it, whether you're going to, flip it, I guess, is buy and flip, or if you're looking for a quick sale, 2 different things. You've got to analyze what build equity up, so when the mortgage is paid down or paid off, you've got X dollars there that you can sell, and you made a point of that, and again, the encouragement to anybody is look at what your goals are. I've seen people approach this very systematically where they'll end up with 4 or 5 and then they'll sell 1. And that gives them the equity to continue growing and have a very systematic approach and accumulate, like you, a portfolio of 10 to 20 homes with very little invested at that time, done in a systematic way.
Yeah, like I said, you have to have a lot of patience and, build a little at a time. To get that next property, and a lot of times, your tenants are paying for your next property. Right,
absolutely. Let me ask you this, kind of get off of that subject just for a minute. You and I were discussing prior to the show that you personally, and I bumped into this and we discussed it, are looking to invest abroad, and you're getting the proper certifications and whatnot to do that. What is the attraction of me as an American citizen to invest abroad?
Well, one of the things I'm looking at is if I want to take a vacation to, say, Mexico for 2 or 3 months, first of all, I have somewhere to go. And then after that, you hire a property manager, a local property manager there to have income coming in from that property. Of course, every country's different. That's why I'm trying to get that certification. Real estate laws in Mexico are different from Jamaica, from Costa Rica. So you need to have a professional that knows the laws in each country that can assist you with that.
So really what your goal is, and a goal anybody would have, was to buy a vacation property, perhaps a long-term retirement property down the road, and then rent it out so that in a sense it pays for itself or pays for part of. But again, you're back into buying a single-family home basically to rent it out. Is that fair?
Yeah, that's fair to say.
That's interesting. So you need a professional. So you're going to try to provide advice to me if I go to Mexico or go to Costa Rica or whatever countries that you're going to represent to help me acquire that home and do it properly.
Well, not just advice for myself. What I'm trying to do is build partnerships in them countries, professionals in them countries that know the system also.
That's interesting. Well, now we're international. You're here in the local Montgomery County area. I want to pick your brain a little bit. What do you see as the long-term challenges and changes in our local Montgomery County market over the next, say, 3 to 5 years?
Well, the challenge is, of course, interest rates are still low right now. They don't have nowhere else to go but up. But we're going to see interest rates go up sooner or later. There's a lot of building going on which is good at this point. But the plateau, I think plateau's going to hit for the builders sooner or later. And the next thing we have to look at, of course, is the oil industry. A lot of people are concerned about the oil industry, but it's not like in my opinion, it's not like the '80s where the oil industry was the main thing around here. Right now, we have the medical field, we have financials, so we have other resources that's going to hold that up.
Well, the thing that, and you made the point, we're in a period of low interest rates and have been for a long time, longer than any time in my life, and yet rental rates are going up, which is kind of interesting to me. I mean, there's no inflation to speak of, so real estate's not really appreciating that much, relatively speaking, but rental rates are pushing up. What's causing that?
Well, all the new jobs in the area, people coming in. A lot of times people come in from another area and they don't want to buy a home right away. They want to rent something out for the first year or two and get settled in before they buy a home.
Yeah, it's really it's a interesting market, but I happen to agree. Obviously, at some point, I keep saying next year, and I've been doing that for 3 years now. Interest rates are going to go up, but nobody seems to have that answer, do they?
Yeah, nobody seems to have that answer. Yeah, and if they do go up, I think it's going to be gradually. It's not going to be something that's going to be all at one time.
Well, the good news is typically real estate's not a bad place to be when interest rates are going up, because typically rents will follow that. At least That was my experience. Rafael, I want to thank you so much for taking time out of your day to be with us today. You provided quite an education in residential real estate investing. And if people wanted to ask you a question or learn more, what's the best way for them to get in touch with you?
Well, my phone number is 832-642-7246. Again, 832-642-7246. My email address is Rafael, Rafael, at Total, TOTAL, H as in home, and M as in management.com. And my website is Rafael Sales, SELLS.com.
Well, that's simple enough to know. Again, thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Before we go to the break, I want to remind you that if you've missed part of Rafael's presentation and discussion today, this show is archived. Be available in a couple of days on the IRLoneStar.com under the weekly business hour. So please feel free to always go there, as our shows for the last 2 years. So we're going to take that break now. When we come back, we'll get a bit of news hopefully you can use to make a better decision in your business, some tips, and that ever-famous Silver Fox tip of the week.
Are you paying too much for your personal or business insurance? Patricia Cooper Insurance on FM 1488 and Tamina Road is an independent agency that can shop multiple carriers to find the best rates and coverages to fit your specific needs. Call us today at 281-356-9955 and let us go to work for you. Patricia Cooper Insurance, where our customers are treated like family.
Are you planning on growing, expanding, or possibly selling your business? All of these business opportunities require developing strategies and setting goals in order to achieve success. Providing specialized consulting in these and other key business decisions is what Silver Fox Advisors have been doing since 1986. Let us help you today. Call us at 713-343-3718. It might be the most profitable call that you ever make.
Tailorized PR works exclusively to get your business noticed. Public relations is how others perceive you and your company. By tailorizing the marketing strategy exclusively to your business, your story is told. Tailorized PR services include networking, social media, blogs, press releases, public appearances, and event planning. To learn about Tailorized PR, call Margie Taylor at 936-828-6881 or visit the website at tailorizedpr.com. My business is tailored to yours.
Running a business is hard. Pressure to maximize profits and minimize loss continue to grow. Schooley Mitchell of Houston can help. Their independent consultants will ensure you are receiving the best communications and credit card processing services at the best prices. Most importantly, their services are completely risk-free. If they don't find savings for you, there is no fee. Contact Schooley Mitchell of Houston today to find out. Call 832-314-1815 or visit their website at schooleymitchell.com/JM Polio.
Doing business since 1985, Assistance League of Montgomery County is a nonprofit, all-volunteer organization where all proceeds stay in Montgomery County. We are proud to sponsor 10 philanthropic programs that enhance the lives of those in our community. Visit our thrift shop at 126 North San Jacinto Street in downtown Conroe or call us at 936-760-1151. Don't forget to like us on Facebook.
This is Rick Schissler, your Silver Fox advisor. Welcome you back to today's weekly business hour. We just had a great interview with Rafael Perez. And again, if you didn't hear it or just caught part of it, I encourage you to go to the archive of our show. You can find it at the irlonestar.com website under the weekly business hour. Well, a little bit of news I hope you can use. Both of these items are a little bit different, but I think they both directly impact our business and ability to do business here in Montgomery County and to grow our business. First one is kind of a shout-out item, and I was so pleased to see this. It was posted on Saturday, March 5th in the Conroe Courier. Title of the article, Conroe ISD, one of 9 districts named to Texas Honor Roll Community Report. Conroe ISD was selected by the Educational Results Partnership, ERP, and the Institute for Productivity and Education, IPE, as one of 9 public school districts in Texas to receive this title of 2015 Honor Roll District. What is the Honor Roll, you say? Well, the Honor Roll is part of a national effort to identify high-performing school districts and highlight successful practices that improve outcomes for students. Districts receive this distinction from leaders in the Texas academic and business communities by consistently demonstrating high levels of student academic achievement, improvement in achievement, and reduction in achievement gaps among student population. End of quote there. I think this is a great distinction and honor for one of our local ISDs. And I wanted to mention to you also in the article it pointed out, in addition to the district being named Texas Honor Roll, 17 Conroe ISD campuses were directly recognized as Honor Roll schools. So congratulations to Dr. Stockton, the staff, and students of Conroe ISD for a job well done. And let me tell you, folks, you may not see it at first, but by having strong school districts like we do in Montgomery County, this helps our ability to attract businesses and attract people to our communities. And that's what business is all about, the people. The second item I'm going to bring up today in business is just mainly informative. You may have heard about it. It's been an ongoing discussion in the business community, and that's the United Way merger. If you're not aware, there's been a discussion plus formalities been going on about the merger of the Montgomery United Way with the Houston United Way. And an article was posted back in February by Marie Leonard in the Community Impact newspaper that pointed out that first formal step. The board of directors for the Montgomery County United Way voted on February 12th to merge with United Way of Greater Houston. And as a result of that vote, there was a vote by all the members, if you will, at a meeting of the Montgomery County United Way on February 24th in the Woodlands Marriott. To be a member, just so you understand, that means you were a contributor to the United Way in 2015. And at that vote, it's my understanding that that merger was approved as well. So the next steps in the merger, I'm not quite sure what they are, but I think one thing, and this is what I really wanted to communicate to you today, was a statement that was released by the Montgomery County United Way Board of Directors. When they voted to approve the merger, they cited 4 factors in their decision so you understand about the function and what happened. First of all, it was an opportunity from their perspective to help more people. 2, it increased in revenue. 3, we would continue with local leadership. And 4, Montgomery County United Way would have local representation on the United Way Greater Houston Board of Trustees. So on its face, this appears like a win-win. We'll see what happens, but I think the United Way is such a part of the fabric, the social fabric of Montgomery County. And if you're in business, whether you directly contribute, your employees contribute, you're impacted because they do so many good things in supporting our local charities and nonprofits. So keep an eye on that, and let's keep an eye on United Way, and let's support it, at least in our discussions, if not by our donations as well. Business tips you can use. I've got a couple things I picked out here today I'd like to talk about. One of them is goal setting for your business. Now, this is a fairly repetitive topic for me, but every once in a while you find an article or a direction, that angle, if you will, that you haven't talked about. And I came across an article, kind of use that as the core of what I want to talk about. This was published in E-Blast and later showed up in American Express on January 20th of this year. And it was about setting goals that help your business grow. And it's kind of a short-term type primer, if you will, basics. And sometimes we get so tied up in the detail in goal setting, we lose track of what we're really trying to do. And I wanted to take a minute here and go back through that. If you've got a pen or pencil handy, or if you can type fast on your computer, but write these down, because I think everybody in business, everybody, even if you're a sole proprietorship, should do goal setting, at least in the way that I picked up from this article, which is part of what I personally believe and try to communicate to my clients. The first thing is think of both long-term and short-term goals. You need to be considering both types as you set goals. It isn't like double sales. That's when I always hear, well, we're going to increase sales X. You've got to think about long-term and short-term. They've got to go together. Short-term for the year, for the month, for the quarter. Long-term out over 1, 2, 3, or longer number of years. The idea is that the long-term goals are your end vision. That's where you visualize your business going, where the short-term goal provides you those all-important milestones so that as you walk towards or run towards those long-term goals, you can make sure you're going the right way and you hit those milestones, or you stop, you think about it, you reevaluate it. Sometimes you go outside and get someone like a Silver Fox to help you say, gosh, what am I doing right? Get back on that path and get back headed toward your vision. But it helps you break the overall goals apart into small chunks so you can see the accomplishment, you can shift if you need to, and you can feel, most importantly, emotionally, like you're getting where you need to go. The reality, and I was taught this by my dad, believe it or not, goals are really achieved in the everyday minutia. Every minute of every day, that first hour like I talked about earlier today, that's when you're achieving your goals, whether they're short-term or long-term. It's execution of the action plan, or execution, if you will, of just what you do every day that is going to make the difference whether you reach your goals. Second thing is don't be vague, and I think this is so important. Gave an example earlier. Well, we want to double sales. We want to do this, and it's very general and broad. You really need to work on being specific. And I have found it's hard for some of us to be really specific, but you really want to be specific when you set goals, because if you really want to change your business, if you want to grow your business, or whatever your long-term vision is, you need to be specific as you set all goals, whether it be short-term milestones or your long-term goals. You need to have a little bit of detail there so you're sure that you are focusing. This is why when I've had some guests on the show, we've talked about how often do you check your goals? Is it weekly, monthly, quarterly? Without exception, I believe we've always talked about monthly. That was their perception, and in some cases it was daily or even weekly. I check my goals weekly. I just have to be reminded to stay on track. Third thing is try to create a snowball, if you're familiar with that term. Start small, start little, low-hanging fruit. These are terms you hear. Short-term goals that you can reach easily and move on. And it's like that old snowball. You start with a little bit, and as it rolls down the mountain, it picks up momentum and it picks up size. This is to get you started. Tackle those easy items first and create some momentum. Very important. And then if you have a business that has one or more employees, be sure you get all those people on the same page. Share your goals with them. Don't be afraid to do that. If there's some financial numbers involved, you're a little hesitant to do it. I understand it. But you still need to share the basic goals with them. And I encourage you to share them with your professionals, that people, the lawyer and the accountant people that work with you. As you know, I always encourage people to bring them in and get them involved in the plan you have. So it doesn't hurt once or twice a year to share what your goals are, where you're going, because they may have some perspective that you haven't thought about, particularly from their professional aspect, that may assist you. One, avoid a mistake, or two, maybe adjust and get a lot more bang for your buck, so to speak, in the way you're going. But everyone needs to understand your vision, and you need to get everybody on that page. Thought, preparation, and time are the three most important things that most small businesses owners don't have. But these are important when you set goals. So take a little time and set some goals for yourself. Second item I'd like to talk about in the few minutes we have remaining in this segment is about being a manager. All of us are managers in one way or another. And in business, you can be a manager, you can be an owner-manager, but there's some things as managers that sometimes we forget, some very basic things that make a difference of how successful we are or not. Now, when you manage, you usually manage one or more people. And for the sake of this discussion, let's call them a team. First, don't worry about being liked. I mean, you want to be pleasant. You want to be easy to get along with. But occasionally, you've got to take a tough road to get somewhere. The key is you want to be transformational. You want to improve your business. And effectively, you're typically trying to improve the lot in life of the people you're managing. You're trying to bring success to those people. Sometimes they don't see it. And this is where it kind of gets a little hard. Everybody wants to be liked, but sometimes we allow that to overcome our goal or our distance of where we need to be. When you solve for your team, you earn popularity and the team stays comfortably. But when you solve for your company, you earn respect and your team grows professionally. And again, a team can even be just one person. Don't worry if your team doesn't need you. This is one I always smile at. I've always had a goal for as long as I can remember to work myself out of a job, and that's basically it. If you're hiring right, you're training, then they don't need you every minute of every day. I think that's the goal. Even again, if you have a single employee, you want to build up their responsibility so you occasionally at least can go somewhere to lunch and not worry about the store being taken care of. Remember, good coaches don't hold back feedback, hard feedback. You've got to be able to do that. And there's two ways people fail at that. They can't bring themselves to give that hard feedback, and they give hard feedback without first building trust in the relationship. So this is the difference between being successful in managing and doing the difficult things you need to do. You've got to build trust in your employees. They've got to respect you. Then when you come out with something that they don't quite understand, they don't get, or they're not real happy about, they will trust that you know what you're doing and that you have their best interest, and most importantly, the best interest of the company that you both work for. So think about some of these things. I think there's some good points there that hopefully, if in your situation, every situation being different, will help you in your business today. So we're going to take a break now. We'll come back in a bit, our fourth and final segment, and we'll have our Silver Fox Tip of the Week. I look forward to that. And remember that Lone Star Community Radio will soon be available on FM 104 and 106 on your radio dial.
Running a business is hard. Pressure to maximize profits and minimize loss continue to grow. Schooley Mitchell of Houston can help. Their independent consultants will ensure you are receiving the best communications and credit card processing services at the best prices. Most importantly, their services are completely risk-free. If they don't find savings for you, there is no fee. Contact Schooley Mitchell of Houston today to find out. Call 832-314-1815 or visit their website at schooleymitchell.com/JM Polio.
Are you paying too much for your personal or business insurance? Patricia Cooper Insurance on FM 1488 and Tamina Road is an independent agency that can shop multiple carriers to find the best rates and coverages to fit your specific needs. Call us today at 281-356-9955 and let us go to work for you. Patricia Cooper Insurance, where our customers are treated like family.
Are you interested in learning more about preparing quick, healthy, and safe meals for your family? Would you like to spend time with others learning tips and tricks, along with practicing and tasting nutritious food? If so, the On the Road to Healthy Living Mobile Cooking School is for you. Call Amy Ressler at Texas A&M AgriLife Extension Service at 936-539-7825 to find a class near you or volunteer to host a class.
Are you planning on growing, expanding, or possibly selling your business? All of these business opportunities require developing strategies and setting goals in order to achieve success. Providing specialized consulting in these and other key business decisions is what Silver Fox Advisors have been doing since 1986. Let us help you today. Call us at 713-343-3718. It might be the most profitable call that you ever make.
Tailorized PR works exclusively to get your business noticed. Public relations is how others perceive you and your company. By tailorizing the marketing strategy exclusively to your business, your story is told. Tailorized PR services include networking, social media, blogs, press releases, public appearances, and event planning. To learn about Tailorized PR, call Margie Taylor at 936-828-6881 or visit the website at tailorizedpr.com. My business is tailored to yours.
You are listening to the Weekly Business Hour, and this is Rick Schissler, your Silver Fox advisor and host. And let me remind you that if you want to send me a note during the show or after the show, please do so. I love your emails. I love to get in conversation with people through email. Reach out to me at rick@irlonestar.com. And if you enjoy the show, please go to our Facebook page, The Weekly Business Hour, and like us. Every show is posted there, so if you want to keep up on every show, you can simply do it there on the Facebook page. Well, the Silver Fox Advisor tip of the week: is your business slowly dying? Good question. A lot of folks will kind of poo-poo that and say, well, no, there's no way, no how. Well, it's interesting. I was reading this past week, and I came across an article. This happens to be about the pizza business, but I think there's a lot of parallels here that could apply really to any industry. And I wanted to share some of the things that popped off the page, if you will, to me. This article was written by Aaron Allen, published on March 3rd of this year. How tech is killing off independent pizzerias. How tech is killing off independent pizzerias. Now, technology to me is a challenge, and if you want to look at it, a threat, I think, to almost any business in America today. And I think it's important. And again, I think there are other threats, but in this case, technology has really become a challenge for all small businesses. Let me give you some statistics along the way that I think will amaze you. Again, let's talk about the pizza business. Technology is killing off independent pizzerias at the rate of 2,549 locations last year alone. 2,549 fewer locally owned small business pizzerias. And it's mainly due, according to Mr. Allen, to technology. And let me just give you an idea what that means. The gap between the average unit volume for chains like Papa John's and Domino's and for pizzerias that operate as sole proprietorships or small businesses is roughly $328,000 a year. So the small guys are bringing in, on average, $328,000 a year less in revenue. And the main reason for this, according to Mr. Allen, and again, this is just one aspect, is the fact that mobile searches using Google and whatnot to buy and locate pizzerias has just skyrocketed. 51% of all mobile searches on Google are for restaurants. Yet by some estimates, as few as 5% of restaurants, and this is restaurants in general, have mobile compliant websites. Well, you know, mobile is what it's all about in tech. I use mobile to locate businesses, and I'm not a high-tech user. Why would someone own a restaurant, for an example, a pizzeria, and not have some mobile presence, or at least a mobile compliant website? It's very interesting. Last year, the pizza industry generated roughly 5% of the total U.S. restaurant revenue of $38 billion. In fact, America has 75,000 pizza places, or joints as some of us call. But the fact is that the big guys, not because they're big or smart, but they have gravitated and picked up on the mobile thing, and it's crushing the small pizzerias. Despite the fact that chain pizza shops only account for 48% of the pizza restaurants, they're pulling in 61% of the revenue. Half the stores, 61% of the revenue. You own a business. You've got access to this information. You're in a downtown area or in a suburban area. You got one location. Why don't you see what's happening around you? Why don't you read a trade journal or talk to people who are your vendors, other people in the industry. This information's out there. I mean, none of this is a surprise. And again, it could be a surprise to any business. Very interesting here about Domino's, their perspective. I'm going to give you a quote here. The CEO of Domino's went so far as to say, and I'm paraphrasing a bit, the author wrote, "We don't see ourselves as a pizza company. We're a technology company that sells pizza." Domino's puts its money where its mouth is, and the results of this new mantra has grabbed enough market share to help them and a handful of other chains absorb an additional 11% of sales. The key there, Domino's is not a pizza company, and if you've had their pizza, you may believe that, but they're a technology company, and now they've grabbed 11% more sales from the market, meaning there's 11% less for the other businesses. Don't get caught short in your business. If technology is part of your business or out there, which I believe it is in every business, maybe not as obvious as a mobile app to order a pizza, but it's out there. The bottom line is fewer than 25% of the restaurants have their own mobile app. Some people say it's as low as 16%. 95% of the independent U.S. restaurants do not even have a mobile optimized website. Okay? That's a website that you can call in and order. I mean, this is the thing that's happening. It happened to Blockbuster in the video business, Netflix. This could be happening to your business, and all I'm saying is look around. Don't let your business die. It's critical that you look to trends, and this is why we've got to spend some time, even though we're safe and sound, the way we feel in our local business where we have a location or maybe 2 or 3 locations. We don't look what's going on nationally, and we're not talking about cutting edge here. I'm not asking you to step out on a limb and use some latest, greatest technology. You have to be very careful in who you work with on technology. I believe that very much so, because you can, like with mobile apps, really risk the future of your business if you make the wrong choice. But the point is, too many times in small business, we absolutely are so busy working our business, we don't take any, if a little bit of time to work on our business. And in this case, I tell you, I think your business is dying. Slowly but surely, you're dying because you're not staying in touch with things like technology that are around you. But I thought this pizza example was a good example of how the mom and pop pizzerias are slowly declining. And according to Mr. Allen, and I agree with him, it's because they're not waking up. They're not taking advantage of technology, which in the case of apps and whatnot is very relatively inexpensive to be involved with. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for joining us this week. I encourage you to visit our website at irlonestar.com to stay up on everything happening in Montgomery County. A lot of good information there, a lot of wonderful shows covering a wide range of topics and some wonderful music, particularly in the afternoons, evenings, and the early morning drive. As we close today, I want to give a big Lone Star thanks to our sponsors, Patricia Cooper Insurance. Encourage you that if you need business or personal insurance, call on Trish and her team at Patricia Cooper. Schoolie Mitchell, our good friend Jerry Polio. What a great guy Jerry is, and he's been a fan of this station and show and very helpful to us. If you need help evaluating your credit card cost or your phone cost, Schoolie Mitchell has a plan that makes a lot of sense to me. Taylorized PR, Margie Taylor, one of the stalwarts in our community. Margie's everywhere. If you need PR or advertising, reach out. And, of course, Silver Fox Advisors. I'm a Silver Fox advisor. Really, really, if you need help, you need someone to talk about where your business is, where it's going, you're in the ditch, you can't get out, reach out to Silver Fox Advisors. My encouragement, stay engaged this week. Keep your focus on what counts in your business. Thank you for joining us, and until next week, remember to stay in touch with what is happening in Montgomery County right here on Lone Star Community Radio.